1, 2. Checkity check, mic check. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, listen, one question to start off the bat. How? Listen to me. Seriously, are you ready? You ready over here? Y'all ready? How would your business change if every employee, referral partner, and customer could explain what you do in one simple sentence? Okay, let me ask you another question. If you disappeared for 30 days, what would your business still communicate? Would your business still communicate your value consistently, or would it even depend on you? Or would everything depend on you? I mean, seriously, because here's the truth. If you start to look at it, many Christian entrepreneurs don't own a business. The business owns them. Yes or yes? And that's kind of what I've seen. Not because they're lazy, not because they're incapable, but the main reason is because they've never simplified their message. And today we are going to fix that, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Childlike Faith Podcast. This is the podcast for all you Christian entrepreneurs who want to grow and scale your business to be able to achieve the financial freedom you're looking for without having to sacrifice your time, your family, your faith, or your joy. And so that's what we're going to be doing here today, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for hanging out with us today. Again, this is under the umbrella of the Fun Life community. This is something I put together, years ago. I mean, it's been a while that we put this together. We started going live back in 2023 just to kind of get an idea of who and how we could help our friends and family. And before you know it, it turned into a pretty big deal. So thank you for joining us. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. If for some reason, hang on, let me make sure my screens are good. Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. Whenever you start to do this, whenever you start to take ownership, and whenever you start to put together a plan for your life, plan for your business, what you're going to have to ensure is that you're going to be consistent and congruent from the start to finish. One of the things that I've noticed when you start to put everything together for some of the trainings that we've done in the past is that the CEO may have the vision, the CEO may have the idea, the game plan, everything they want to do, but a lot of times the frontline employees, they don't know that for some reason it did not make it all the way down to the tellers. I remember working at the credit union. A lot of our tellers could not repeat what exactly it was that the company was doing. And so what is it for you guys? What is the consistent and congruent message that needs to be shared with everybody? Because today we're going to be sharing with you Donald Miller's big idea that teaches every business needs simple, repeatable sound bites, not complicated explanations, not elevator pitches, not paragraphs, not the sound bites, the consistent and congruent sound bites that's going to be able to help your message stay the same across all platforms. Why is that important? Because people remember simple. I mean, Jesus did it masterfully, right? We start to pattern this whole thing, right? He said, follow me. What else did he say? Love your neighbor. He said, and go back, ask, and it will be given you. Simple, memorable, and repeatable, guys. That's how business should work. That's how business should be. And so today, over the next few minutes, I'm going to be sharing with you guys what's called the PEACE framework, PEACE framework. I remember one of my clients we were coaching, one of their biggest things is that they were having all these things happen in their mind when they were going to work and everything that was happening. And so our goal, our battle cry for that coaching session was going to be that we must protect our peace at all costs. Kind of like the old Under Armour thing. We must protect this house. We must protect our peace. And so peace, the framework behind peace, the P stands for problem. I mean, seriously, guys, what problem do you solve? What problem do you solve? Again, we're talking about how to really make sure that your messaging is across the board the same from the top, ownership, all the way to your frontline employees. And so we're going to be sharing with you the PEACE framework, and the P stands for problem. So what problem do you solve? Most businesses start with, we are a full service provider, yada, 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 yada. Yeah, no, nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. Start with the problem. For example, if you're mortgages, you could ask the question of, are you worried that you'll never own a home? That's a problem. That's a pretty big problem. As a coach, do you feel stuck even though you know you're capable of more? Yeah, absolutely. I work with real estate agents. That's who I started coaching. Is your home sitting on the market longer than expected? Yeah. Guys, when you start to go back and look at businesses as a whole, what you realize is that Every business, start to drive down the road and look at businesses as a way to solve problems. What problem do they solve? Seriously, what problem do they solve? And so whenever you start to look at everything differently, a lot of a sudden you start to kind of think of new ways and new ideas. Okay, so that was the P in the piece problem. E stands for empathy. Show them you understand. Show them that you know exactly what's happening, right? Empathy is probably the superpower that most people are missing. For example, you can say things like, we understand how frustrating that feels, right? Empathy, emotion, empathy. We've been there too. Have you? Yeah. Again, you can't fake this one. And we know how overwhelming that can be. You know, people buy from people who get them, who understand them. That's why in my coaching program, we teach that the fifth habit of people, of the 7 habits of highly effective people, where it says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. That's why we're doing this, guys. And so whenever you start to put this, when you start to put empathy into your processes, everything changes. Matter of fact, the A in P stands for answer. What do you provide? Now, again, not everything. You don't want to be everything to everybody. You can't. Let's do this. Just answer the simple stuff, right? We created a simple step-by-step process. We developed a coaching framework. We have developed a proven system that helps you helps your businesses excel. You know, be specific, right? Mr. Ziegler always says that you want to be a meaningful specific, not a wandering generality. That's what's going to happen with you guys if you don't be specific, right? Okay, the C. We're trying to get through this pretty quickly, but hey, listen, seriously, the C. For those of you just joining, appreciate you being on here again. Childlike Faith Podcast, guys. We want to help you guys, all you Christian entrepreneurs, grow and scale your business so that you can achieve the financial freedom you're looking for without sacrificing your time, your family, your faith, or your joy. And you just happen to have landed on Small Business Saturday. All right, now back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, the C is change, guys. That's what people are after. What transformation occurs because of what you're going to be helping them with, right? People don't buy products. They don't. People buy change. For example, you're going to gain confidence. You're going to get clarity. You're going to create momentum, build financial freedom. Once you start to understand that the people are buying the outcomes, they're buying the transformation, they don't really care about, I always use the example of the drill, right? If you want a hole, you don't go buy the drill because of the drill. You buy the drill because of the hole that you need drilled. The drill is just a means to an end. That's what coaching is. That's what the business consultation is. And so it's just a means to an end. I mean, listen, it's not going to be like that forever. Okay. And then the E in peace stands for the end result. What does life look like afterwards? Examples. That way you can stop worrying about money. I mean, how awesome would that feel, right? So you can enjoy your business again. So you can spend more time with your family. Here's the thing, guys. People buy outcomes. So again, we're just going to do a quick repeat, right? P stands for what problem do you solve? E, always show empathy. Always have empathy. A, what's the answer? What is going to be the answer because of what they're going to be going through with you? And C, change. What's the transformation that's going to occur? And then E, what is the end result for them, guys? All right. So that was it. That's pretty simple, right? But here's the thing. What is the employee test that you need to play? If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, I get it. Sometimes you're a solopreneur and it's all on you. But if you have an employee, I wonder if we were to ask 3 employees, what do you do? How many answers would you get? I mean, if you get 3 different answers, you don't have a marketing problem. You have a messaging problem. That's the thing. When everyone says the same thing, all of a sudden magic happens. Because if you have 3 people saying 3 different things, then again, you don't have a marketing problem. There's a messaging. There's an issue with the messaging. But when everybody gets on the same page and it's consistent and congruent along all the lines from top to bottom, all of a sudden magic happens. Because customers hear the same story. Employees share the same story, and referral partners repeat the same story. So now owners, here's the thing. You don't have to be everywhere at all times because you have a crew, you have a people, you have a system set up that's going to be able to do that for you. I get it. Christian entrepreneur, something to smile about. I get it. You want Bible. I got you, baby. Habakkuk 2:2. What does that say? I know you know it. You guys know it over here? Over there. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision, make it plain. Guys, don't complicate it. Stop overcomplicating everything, guys, right? I've heard it said before, complexity is the enemy of execution, guys. You need to keep it simple. That's why I love to share my KISS framework, KISS. Keep it super simple. Keep it super simple, right? Simplicity scales, complexity fails. That's it. Keep it plain. Simple enough that people can run with it. Simple enough that people can implement it. Simple enough that many entrepreneurs can actually follow this. Because here's the thing, entrepreneurs, I love you. You guys are visionaries. But what happens is that very few of us are able to make it plain enough that others may carry it. And that's where leadership comes in. So that's why there's a big push for us to create leaders, right? With our Toastmasters, that's the whole thing behind why you hear me be so passionate about getting you to a Toastmasters club, is because that's where leaders are made. And then a lot of times people want to go faster, so we're able to provide one-on-one coaching from there. All right. So imagine this, as we kind of bring this episode to a close. Imagine this. Your team knows exactly what to say. Customers instantly understand your value. Referral partners know exactly who to send your way, making your marketing easier. All of a sudden, your sales conversations feel easier. They're more productive, more profitable, and your growth begins to become more predictable. What would that do for your business? What would that do for your peace of mind? That's why I love the PEACE acronym, the PEACE framework. What would that do? Again, if you are ever wondering where your next client is coming from, we need to talk. We need to have a conversation. Let's sit down this week with your team, or sit down with your team this week and ask them, can everyone explain to me what we do in one sentence? In just one sentence. If the answer is no, that's where we start. Toastmasters is not my thing, but I've taken ownership of it. And so I asked them yesterday, can anybody say the mission statement? I offered them a $20 bill if you can say the mission statement. Nobody could. I know someday somebody's going to take me up on it, but here's the thing, guys. That's where we start. That's where we need to start, because if you need help creating your company's PEACE framework and identifying the 5 sound bites that makes everyone consistent and congruent so that you can get on the same page, hey, let's talk about it. Hey, DM me the word PEACE. I want to help you be more, do more, and have more. Again, this has been the Childlike Faith Podcast for all of you Christian entrepreneurs that want to grow and scale your business so that you really can achieve that financial freedom you're looking for without having to sacrifice your time, your family, your faith, or your joy. And it's amazing what happens when you don't have to worry about where your next client is coming from, because everybody's consistent and congruent, firing all cylinders. Your referral partners know how to repeat it. Your customers know exactly what you do. They know exactly what they're getting. You don't have to be there all hands on deck all the time. You have other people doing that for you. And again, life just gets so much easier and a whole lot more fun. And as you guys know, fun is serious business, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank you for hanging out with me today on Something to Smile About Saturday. We will see you next week. Adios.